These stories are taken from the book Indispensable Engines. James and the Queen of Sodor. One day, Percy puffed to the washdown. My whistle's clogged. He tried to blow hard to clean it out, but instead blew mud all over Gordon. Silly, huffed Gordon. Percy was trying not to laugh. Keep your dirt away from me. I'm collecting the mare today, said James proudly. Really? Chuckled James. You need a washdown first. Pah, snorted Gordon. James just laughed. Soon James had collected the mare and puffed proudly away. Just look at me, Gordon. Show off, muttered Gordon. The Fat Controller came to the sheds. I need an engine to collect the Queen of Sodor. Who's the Queen of Sodor? Asked Thomas. A leaky old barge, replied the Fat Controller. She needs to go to the workshops. It's dirty work, I'm afraid. Just then, James returned to the sheds. This gave Gordon an idea. Is collecting the Queen of Sodor important work too? Very important work. Do I have a volunteer? Very important work, sir, exclaimed James. I'll do it. Then it's settled. She's waiting at the canal. Thank you, sir, said James. Gordon was delighted. His plan was working. I'm here to collect the Queen of Sodor, announced James. There she is, said the yard manager. James was furious what he see. That old tug! Gordon tricked me. He wants me to get dirty. I'll show him. A shiny engine like me never gets dirty. Soon James set off with the Queen of Sodor. It was a long journey to the workshops. Shiny and clean, puffed James. Then there was trouble. The tall funnel of the old barge crashed through a pipe. James was sure he would get covered in sludge, but he didn't. Shiny and clean, he declared again. The workmen soon cleared the mess, and then James was on his way. He arrived safe and sound and pleased that the dirty work was done. When James returned to the sheds, he was very proud of himself. How did you manage to stay so clean? Asked Gordon. I had to stay clean, boasted James, in case there's important work to do. Just then, Percy returned from the quarry. My whistle is clogged again. Watch out, James. Dust went everywhere. I did warn you, said Percy. You need a washdown now, teased Thomas. Good, snorted James. It will make me readier than ever. I'm such a splendid engine. Groaned the other engines. Fergus breaks the rules. Fergus, the traction engine, is the pride of the cement works. He knows all the rules and obeys them. One day, the Fat Controller brought devious Diesel to the cement works. Diesel will help out for a while. Fergus, please show him around. Yes, sir, said Fergus unhappily. He heard from the other engines that Diesel can be trouble. Later, as Diesel started his work, he was being careless. Not like that, snapped Fergus. Do it right. Don't interfere, sneered Diesel. But unfortunately, he was underneath a hopper and was soon covered in dust. You don't know the rules, shouted Fergus. Diesel was very annoyed with Fergus and started plotting a devious plan. Later that day, he pretended to have news for Fergus. The Fat Controller wants you to work at the smelters for a while. Me? But I'm the pride of the cement works, cried Fergus. Not anymore. The Fat Controller says I'm better than you, so I'm going to stay here. The smelters will be a nice change for you. It's not fair. I love working here. But Fergus knew that really useful engines had to do as they are told. Diesel laughed as Fergus left. Fergus arrived at the smelters. I want to go back to the cement works, wailed Fergus. I understand that none of the engines like coming here. It's so scary. You're right, said his driver. Just then, Ari and Bert arrived. Hello. Are you happy to be here? Both said. No, cried Fergus. His driver was scared too. Come on, Fergus, we're going to escape. And for the first time, Fergus broke the rules. The Fat Controller was enjoying a tasty fish supper when he heard that Fergus was missing. That's not like Fergus. There must be something wrong. I will send Thomas to look for him. Fergus and his driver turned onto an unused track to find a place to hide. Fergus was frightened. Thomas puffed up and down the line. He couldn't see Fergus anywhere. We could search the old mine track, said his driver. That line is dark and spooky, whispered Thomas, but he had to be brave and find Fergus. Fergus was on the siding. His fire had gone out. Then he heard a sound. It's an engine, he cried. Fergus, whistled Thomas. Whatever are you doing out here? Hiding. Don't want to work at the smelters. The Fat Controller is going to be cross with me, said Fergus sadly. He's not, cried Thomas. He's worried about you. Really? Of course, chuffed Thomas. Fergus felt better. Thomas pulled Fergus all the way to the smelter's yard, where he knew the Fat Controller was waiting. Fergus, explain yourself, he boomed. I run away. It's scary here. Diesel told Fergus that you wanted him at the smelters forever. Nonsense, Fergus. You are the pride of the cement works. I shall send Diesel to the smelters and you can go back to the cement works tomorrow. Oh, thank you, sir, said Fergus happily. Diesel was soon found out and was sent out to the cement works, and Fergus returned. He felt very happy. He is still the pride of the cement works. Metal engine. Percy was cheerfully collecting trucks of metal from the ironworks where Diesel works and just shunted the train. Percy didn't want to fall for his tricks, but before he knew it, he was stuck in the middle. Oh, bother, huffed Percy crossly. Little green piggy in the middle, Diesel teased. Percy's driver was also cross, but there was no time to rearrange the trucks. With trucks in front of him and trucks behind, Percy had to go slowly. James was at the station when Percy steamed slowly by. Ha ha, it's slow coach Percy, James laughed. You wouldn't be laughing if you were stuck in the middle, Percy fumed, and he fumed all the way to the harbour, where he rearranged the trucks into the sidings. Then he went to a line to have a rest. No sooner as his driver and fireman left, there was trouble. Daisy arrived to collect the empty milk tankers. She bumped the tankers, and the tankers bumped Percy. The impact had caused Percy to come off the rails and crash straight into the harbour master's shed. The harbour master was very cross. Look what you've done to my shed, he fumed. I will have to report this to the Fat Controller. The Fat Controller came just as Thomas and Toby arrived with the breakdown train to put Percy back onto the rails and to be taken away to the works. It's not my fault, sir, said Percy. I got in a bit of a spot of a bother. Diesel make me a middle engine and it's all right, Percy, said the Fat Controller. Not your fault, Percy, said the Fat Controller. You were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. But you must go to the works. I'm sorry, Percy, said Daisy. I didn't know you were behind me. That's all right, Daisy, said Percy. I just had a bad day. Percy was at the works near the sheds. James watched on. He was trying not to laugh. Percy explained to him what a trying day he has been. Pa, said James, thinking no one could hear, I can handle Diesel with bent buffers and a busted boiler. Unfortunately, the Fat Controller overheard. Then you'll do Percy's run to the ironworks. Yes, sir, said James. The next day, James arrived at the ironworks. He was determined not to be tricked by Diesel. Hello, James, he oozed. Come to learn a thing from those you know. Just get my trucks ready and stay on my way, huffed James importantly. Yes, sir, Diesel chinned greasily. James cheerfully backed up to his trucks. He was certain he had not fooled Diesel, but he was wrong. "Little red piggy in the middle, just like Percy," chortled Diesel. "I am not like Percy," puffed James. "I'm not a middle engine and I'm not moving." And he didn't. When the Fat Controller heard the news, he sent Percy to fetch James. Luckily, his repairs were very minor. This made Percy happy. He buffered up to James and took him along with all the trucks to the docks. "Right on time," said the manager. "But what is that big red engine doing in the middle?" "Learning," Percy replied. "Learning what?" "Learning to be a middle engine," Percy laughed. James covered himself in steam, hoping no one would recognize him. But it was no good. James felt embarrassed as Percy just smiled. Best Dressed Engine. It was Tidmouth Station's birthday and it was going to be a grand celebration. There would be music and lots of fun. The station was being decorated. The Fat Controller said that the engines could be decorated too. "I'm going to have flags and streamers," whistled Percy. "I'm going to have a big red banner," whistled Thomas. "What decorations will you have, Gordon?" asked Murdoch. "Decorations aren't dignified for an important engine like me. I pulled the express." Gordon was feeling insulted. "Silly engines," he grunted as he chuffed down the main line. Soon it was time for the engines to be decorated. Percy's driver and fireman was wrapping streamers and flags around his funnel. Thomas had a big red banner on his tanks. Even Murdoch was being decorated, although he was very shy about it. "We could have a competition for the best dressed engine," suggested James. Just then Gordon shunted in. "A competition?" he puffed. "I'm bound to win any competition." "You had to be decorated," said James. "This is the best dressed engine competition." "Not me," puffed Gordon. "You'll never catch me looking so ridiculous." The engines felt splendid as they went about their work with their decorations on. But not Gordon. He was cross. "Decorations aren't dignified. Who cares about the competition anyway?" Further down his line, a colorful banner was strung across the bridge. Then, as Gordon steamed across the bridge, the banner became loose and wrapped around his firebox. He couldn't see the line ahead. Gordon tried to whoosh the banner off, but it wouldn't budge. "I can't see," he whistled loudly to his driver. "Stop!" "You can't stop, Gordon," his driver called back. "You're the express." Trevor the traction engine was chugging slowly along with his load of apples for the children's apple bob. As Trevor went over the crossing, he heard a whistle. He was going as fast as he could, but it wasn't fast enough as Gordon rammed through the crossing and the cart. The apples were all smashed. James was the last engine to join the competition at Tidmouth, or so he thought. "Here comes Gordon!" cried the passengers. The engines were surprised to see Gordon with a banner. "We didn't think you wanted to be decorated," teased Thomas. "I didn't," huffed Gordon. "Well, you're definitely the best dressed engine," said James. All the engines agreed. Gordon was secretly pleased, but he didn't think it was dignified to say so. Silly Gordon.